Another logistics function is materials handling. This is moving the product from short distances from point A to point B. And kind of the goal here is this is how breaking bulk and creating assortment happens, is you take a large container and you break it down into smaller shipments. Some of the issues in moving stuff from point A to point B, one is shrinkage. Shrinkage is just a fancy word for things that get lost or stolen or broken. And when you move things around, that happens. Time, if you have a perishable product, things could spoil, or if you have even a fashion-oriented product, it might go out of style if it takes too long to get it from point A to point B. And then you don't want to get it banged up. Have we talked about packaging yet? That's one of the things that packaging does. And then the trade-off here is between speed and control, is how do you get, I want to put it carefully in the right place, but I want to move it fast. This is an area where robotics is really making a difference, because robots are very good at moving from point A to point B and putting it exactly where you want if you know where it's going to be. So in business, we talk about fun things like spoilage and damage in transit. Let me talk about spoilage. So one of my jobs, when I was in college, one of my jobs was working at a soda bottling plant over the holidays, because that's like the peak season for soft drinks is the holidays. And my job was to load trucks with cases of soda. And there were a couple of games that they played in the distribution center. One game was called Hand Grenade. And with Hand Grenade, you take a can of club soda, because you always want to use club soda because it's really fizzy. And you shake it up really good, you jam it on something sharp, and you go Hand Grenade and throw it over, and it spins all around and gets everybody wet. The other game was bowling. And with bowling, again, we're working with soda water. You take little 6-ounce bottles, and you set up 10 of those in a triangle, and then you take the quart bottle and use that as the ball. So the reason that I'm saying that is, one, to illustrate why I'm no longer working in that job. But as a manager, how would you handle that? So we're talking about shrinkage, we're talking about spoilage, but so what do you do when you got a little horseplay going on in the warehouse? That's a human question. Anyways. So some of the things that we're doing to minimize the loss is radio frequency identification is something that's becoming more and more common. We're getting them in smartphones now. That's what Apple Pay is based on. But it's near-field radio communications. And they have radio frequency ID tags that you can actually put on a package that will transmit the contents of the package, and you can track the progress of the package just by tracking the tags. Last I looked, they were costing about 15 cents a piece, so they're not yet inexpensive enough to be using on individual consumer products, but on master packs and on larger products, it makes total sense to do it that way. And then the barcode. I can just scan, tell what the packages are. Easy ways to keep track of stuff as it goes through transit. If you have ever tracked a package with UPS or FedEx, that's what they're doing. Every time it hits a point, they scan it. That goes into the computer, and you as the customer can check how many scans it's had, where it is in the process. Another issue with materials handling is storage. And a warehouse is a place where you store stuff. And the idea is you don't normally sell it from a warehouse. It's a place to hold it for eventual movement into the marketing channel. A couple different kinds of warehouses. There are storage warehouses which hold inventory close to the retailer. And you might have, for example, if I am a grocery warehouse, I might have to have a frozen section for ice cream and frozen things, and a cool section for perishable fruits, and then a non-heated section for canned goods. But I want to make sure that the product is stored in a way that's going to make it saleable. Another kind of warehouse is a distribution center. And this is where breaking bulk and assortment happens. If you've ever driven down I-5 towards LA, about halfway down, you see a whole bunch of really low T-shaped and H-shaped buildings. Those are distribution centers. And a typical distribution center, you would have one end where trucks from the manufacturer pull in and unload, and on the other end, trucks for the retailer pull out and go to the retailer. And in the distribution center, I take, quantities of truckloads and make sure that each truck that's going to a retailer has exactly the right mix of product to go to that retailer. And the interior is just a mass of conveyor belts, and it's kind of fun if you're into that kind of fun stuff.